guess if you can remember, take me back to the first time that you met Paul. What was the first interaction, if you can recall that?
I think the first time we really interacted is I have a John Deere tractor to mow my lawn, and he had one as well, and he was having trouble with the bag staying on his tractor, and he came over and saw me mowing the lawn and asked me for a little advice, and I showed him how to keep the bag strapped on. So that was the first interaction that I remember. But you know, we were neighbors for quite a while, and had many interactions since then. So I don't know for sure if that was the first one.
How long, just in the ballpark, how long did you know Paul?
Probably a couple years, roughly, while we were both living in the neighborhood, and you know, I've seen him off and on since then. And I'm not sure exactly the time frame. He moved away a couple years ago, so I guess that would say maybe 4 years altogether, somewhere in that range.
And I know that you didn't really know him on a personal level, I think is how you put it, but the interactions that you did have with him, if you can just tell me, what kind of person Paul was.
He was a pretty friendly guy, positive, energetic, I would say. I know he was a martial artist as a hobby, so he had a lot of physical, very energetic guy is what I would say, and a hell of a nice guy.
And now what? You said you got coffee with him every so often, and what would he talk about when he was? Would he talk about family or friends or his job? What did the conversations center around?
Well, the most recent interface I had with him was in the coffee shop, and this was just this past Sunday. And my wife Jan is suffering with cancer now, and she and Paul are Facebook friends, and Paul was talking to, came up to me and asked how Jan was doing, and he's followed her case very closely on Facebook as far as the situation with her cancer, and that's been the bulk of recent conversations with him. So, but yeah, I'd see him maybe once a month or so in the coffee shop. We weren't coffee buddies, but we bump into each other and talk for a little while.
Yeah. And what did he say about his job as a trooper?
Not much. I knew he was a state trooper, but he never really talked about it a lot. I seldom saw him in. I honestly can't remember for sure if I ever saw him in a state trooper uniform. Generally, I'd see him with casual T-shirts on and either shorts or jeans or something like that when I saw him. And I do know, I think toward the end he was driving his car out of his house, or he was leaving his car there, and then I'd see him get out in his uniform. But generally speaking, he never talked about his role as a police officer.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you have to give it up to police officers. Really have the utmost respect for them, putting their life on the line every day. If you just want to expand on that and being grateful for his service.
Well, I think it's something we probably all take for granted. Policemen are there every day doing their job, and you don't. I guess sometimes I don't think a lot about it, and then I hear about what just happened to Paul, and it's obviously it's a tragedy, and it certainly reflects on the kind of risks that these folks take on a regular basis, and I never would have anticipated. I mean, I don't know why I would think this way, but I would never assume Paul would ever get hurt on the job. Obviously, he did, and it just shows the risk these guys take and gals take, and hats are definitely off to them, and it's a great service they provide, and we all should be grateful for it.
Absolutely.
So,
Any children that you know of? Do you know about his family structure?
I don't know much about that. No. I just don't. I don't think he has any children, but I don't. I don't think he was. I believe he had a fiancée, but I'm not sure of. I don't. I've never met her, and because I think some of that happened after they moved out of the neighborhood, so I don't know much about his current situation there.
And what would you say to Trooper Butterfield's family if you were to see them?
I'm very sorry for your loss, and I thank your family for the service that your son, brother, mother, whatever the relationship is. I'm just sorry for the loss. It's got to be horrible, and especially with the suddenness of it. That, as I understand the situation, for somebody to meet an untimely, death like that, really sorry for their loss.
Is there anything else, Paul, that you wanted to mention that I was overlooking, or anything like that?
Well, I remember Paul as a very good neighbor. He lived right across the street from us, and always a friendly wave, always a friendly greeting, and was just a good neighbor to have, and that's how I remember him.